Alright, this is a great and simple recipe for the Ajitsuke Tamago, which are the ramen eggs for soups and noodles, used not just for Japanese ramen, but for many other similarities in other Asian cultures. So first off, make sure you got your ice bath ready. Get those quality eggs ready as well. Okay, make sure you have your spider, because we're going to lower them into the water, put the water to boil. So once that water is ready to boil, put them in there, cradle them nicely, because we don't want to crack the eggshells. So we're going to just take them and lower them into our boiling water. Okay, the water is boiling. So this is not just a recipe for ramen eggs, but also for a soft-boiled egg. So 6 minutes, still going to be pretty runny once you throw it in the ice bath. If you want it a little more firmer, gummier, maybe 7-8 minutes. But longer than that, then you're going to be overcooking it. Now let's go over the ingredients for the marinade. Some mirin, which is a sweet cooking wine. There's also a non-alcoholic version that they sell. Also some good soy sauce, scallions, garlic, brown sugar, and I'm out of fresh ginger. I apologize, but we're going to sub it with some really good dry ginger. So that's coming to a boil. About 40 seconds left. And that's a boil. That's what it should look like. Soft-boiled eggs you put into a boiling water, not like hard-boiled eggs where you bring them up from cold. Okay, so now that's ready to take them out. So gently get under there with your spider. Try to take a few out at a time, 3 or 4, because you don't want them to crack. Cracking will happen to 1 or 2 of them, but you don't want to have such a big crack that it ruins the color of the egg, because when they marinate, they're going to change a certain color, a light tan to a dark brown. I mean, ideally you want to let them marinate 2, maybe 3 days, so they'll get that really rich color and even that umami, and we'll talk a little bit about umami flavor. We'll get into the yolk itself. So next up, let's prep the marinade. Get everything into one pot. The brown sugar, not lightly packed. Okay, snip off the wood ends of that scallion. Make sure they're very clean. Scallions are like the leeks, they tend to be very nasty, but don't throw out that end. Okay, that end you could save, put it in a glass of water. And me, I've had scallions growing indefinitely. That's the ones I've had. They keep growing and growing. You cut them down and they just keep growing right back. So I always have fresh scallions around. Okay, it's just a good little tip. All right, so put them in your pot. You got the brown sugar, the clove of garlic smashed, some of that powdered ginger. Should be like about a thing of fresh. We put the mirin, or the sweet cooking wine. Usually you're supposed to put sake, but soy sauce in. Okay, so now while we wait for that to melt on the stove, just a quick technique, after you take them out of the ice bath, use the ice water to help, remove the peel and the shell. If they're shocked properly, that one opened up on me a little bit, but it's still good to go. Just give it a clean in that same water. One more time here. You don't want to hit it too hard. You don't want to roll too hard, because they are rather soft in the middle still and still squishy. So you don't want to ruin that yolk or puncture it. Then you can't marinate them and get those nice ramen eggs that we're working on. So give it a little tap, make sure it's clean. Thumbs up. All right, so we just bring this up to a boil and turn it off. That's all the ingredients we had for the marinade. We're gonna let it cool for a second before we pour it into our container with the eggs. Now I like to put them in a tall container, like a deli container, so that the sauce will permeate every egg. Okay, so just pour it in gently and carefully, and go make sure it's not too hot. And like I said, ideally, these eggs, you want to have them for at least 2-3 days, and then they'll be perfect when you cut them open. But this one was only about less than 24 hours. I like to take a tuna can and wrap it in saran wrap, and put it just on top of the eggs to keep them submerged, so that they all get that even tanning color, okay, and that browning color. Sometimes you don't color them long enough, they don't look right. Okay, not color them, but they pick up the natural color of the soy. So make sure before you put it in the fridge, put it in a bowl too, because your parents are going to have a royal mess and they're going to yell at me. So once they're done, take them out, slice them in half. You see it's still nice and gooey, but it's not runny. The texture should be almost like gummy bear-like, but a little like almost like a gummy bear that just came out of the oven, you know, soft and gooey. They're usually refrigerated so you can be cut easily because they're going into a hot soup or noodle dish. Okay, so I don't have no ramen noodles unfortunately today, or the stock or everything else to make it. And that little browning on the side is a crack from where the soy sauce got into the shell. So this stuff is a good chili oil to throw on top, but it's very hot, so be careful. So just I throw a little bit of that on there, a little sea salt. If you are so inclined to make the entire ramen noodle dish, I have it. It's about a 2-day recipe. So, but there you go, nice little shot. The oil and the yolk go nice together with that contrast of color.